From Capitol Hill in Washington to a cold warehouse on the outskirts of Kyiv, Ukraine, Stephen Moore, a former chief of staff to a member of Congress, knew where he had to be after Russia invaded on February 24, 2022.
So I hopped on a plane and got to Ukraine on day 5 of the war.
And he came bearing supplies.
I bought like binoculars, walkie-talkies, flashlights of all kinds, and this sort of thing, medical supplies, and I just stuffed them into like 4 really big suitcases.
As Moore was trying to get into Ukraine, people were waiting in long lines trying to get out. On his first visit, Moore brought supplies he paid for himself. Later, he eventually created a non-profit in the US and relocated to Kyiv. Moore explains what drew him to do it.
2 things. Я люблю Ukraine. I love Ukraine. And part of the reason is because, freedom is a very important core value to me. And so I see the Ukrainians fighting for their freedom.
Moore informs his former Capitol Hill colleagues about what's really going on in Ukraine. Since September, he's visited about 100 congressional offices.
America is living under the illusion that it has the choice of whether or not to participate in wars in Europe and the Middle East. And the choice is not yes or no. The choice is whether we send relatively inexpensive weapons now or whether we send troops, the lives of our sons and daughters, because Putin is not going to stop with Ukraine.
Moore isn't moving back to his homeland anytime soon. Neither is Karen Marie Kragland from Denmark, who says Kyiv is her home city now. We met with Kragland right after her Ukrainian lesson. She is fluent in Russian, but after years in Ukraine, she wants to speak its official language.
I came here to join the IT industry, and some 6 years ago, I started my own business where I advise companies on organizational transformation and change management. Actually, next week, I have my 17th anniversary here.
When the shooting in Kyiv began at the start of the war, she fled to the west of Ukraine and later took a job in the Netherlands. After a year, she decided she had to return to Ukraine.
You know, we crossed the border. It was just this immense inner peace to be back on Ukrainian soil. I was like, yes. I feel semi-Ukrainian by now. I can make a difference here.
When talking about the conflict, Kragland speaks of our war. She wants to help Ukraine as much as possible.
Financially, obviously, is one way of helping. Another way of helping is to advise organizations here. I'm currently working with a very large NGO, on working with them on strengthening their organization.
Both Moore and Kragland say, while their friends and relatives don't understand their choice to live in a war zone, they stopped trying to persuade them to return to their motherlands. Lesia, Bakalets, VOANews, Kyiv.